Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Rajaja Ranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Banachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vajatanda Ranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Vishnupat Paramahamsa Sadhara Shishimar Sivaingre Si Bhakti Vedanta Samadasha Bhupati Takuri Vaishnava Vindhigachai Namachar Shadas Thaku Kichai Prem Zero Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasi Bhula Bhakta Vindagi Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Radha Vindran Gichai Vrindavandam Gichai Maturadam Gichai Naritam Gichai Jagannath Puri Dam Gichai Mongomai Gichai Yamunamai Gichai Turasi Devi Gichai Bhakti Devi Gichai Samaveda Bhaktandi Gichai Gauda Pramanandi. All glories to the 70 devotees, all glories to the 70 devotees, all glories to the 70 devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Santa Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Vachani Vishesha Srimati Pashyata Satari. So, wir lesen weiter aus dem Transcendental Diary von Hari Sauri Prabhu. When Gopal Krishna mentioned that we are also being accused of not being Hindus, Srila Prabhupada didn't think that a bad thing. As long as it is understood correctly, Hindus, we are Krishnian. Krishna, in the dictionary it is said Hindu God. But we are claiming that Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means godder than the Hindus. Godder than the Hindus. Krishna says, Sarva Yonishu, in all forms of life I am the seed-giving Father. Why he should be simply Hindu? This point should be stressed. Sarva Yoni means 8,400,000 all forms. Krishna is for all of them. Hindus are included, but Krishna is not restricted to Hindus. Krishna's picture that Bal Gopal, he is embracing the calves. Krishna does not embrace only the gopis. He is embracing the calves also. That is Krishna. He is equal to everyone. Mam hi partavya shrita ye pisyu papa yonaha. Bhagavad Gita 9:32. Papa yona. So many low-grade forms of life. They are also his. Quote this, Krishna is not restricted to the Hindus. We say we are not a Hindu, means we embrace everyone. We embrace everyone, and actually we are doing that. Why should we simply be compact within the limitations of Hindu? This is not our purpose. Then we should not have come to Western countries. We are actually spreading universal brotherhood. Krishna is the Father and everyone our brother. We are claiming all our fallen brothers to become Krishna conscious. This is our movement. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prihivite ache yattanagadari gama. This is our movement. Why you should be restricted to India and amongst the Hindus. Our acharyas says they are said, go, Bharata Bhumite. You have taken birth in India. That's all right. Make your life successful and go abroad. Para upakara. Janma chataka kori koro para upakara. Chaitanya Caritamrita Adilila 9:41. This is our mission. We have come to you to make you civilized. This is our mission. And the best men of your country, they are recommending all the learned circle. They coming. How can you defy us? You are trying to brainwash. Actually, you have no brain. Just see how important it is, this movement. You are trying to brainwash. We are not brainwashing. We are giving you good brain. This is our mission. That you are so dull-headed, we have come to give you good brain. Sumedha Shah. Yagyai Sankirtana Praya Yachantihi Sumedha Shah. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. We have come to make you intelligent. Receive us well for your benefit. Tell them like that. Bring one court case and I shall sit. Go. Oh, what? Anyway, tell them like that. Being one court case and I shall sit, go and sleep there and expose them. Item by item. I know my case is strong. He started laughing. Yes, I will speak. If you cannot speak, I shall go and speak. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions or comments? Habt ihr alles verstanden? Oh. That's English.
What was, Maharaj, that the word Goder?
Goder.
Goder.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Yeah, okay.
Go to the court, preach to them. And Prabhupada says in the end here, if you cannot do that, I shall go.
No. There was one word here.
Godder than Hindus.
Yeah.
Godder than Hindus.
Godder than Hindus.
Godder, yeah. More godly.
More good.
More godly than the Hindus. Godder, God. Göttlicher als die Hindus. For Srila Prabhupada, this was very enjoying. I mean, Prabhupada liked to fight. He would not hide. And he sent his disciples to the front to preach. Yeah. And when this whole thing was finished, Prabhupada said, this was a good fight. He enjoyed it. No? This is preaching. Preaching means we have to make the point. We have to get people to understand or accept Krishna, accept spiritual life, accept devotional service, accept this movement of Krishna consciousness. Make them understand that this is of utmost importance. Otherwise, life is wasted. This opportunity we get very rarely. First of all, to get a human body. There's so many more other bodies than human bodies. There's so many insects, there's so many plants, there's so many things. And then Prabhupada said, and amongst all these 8,400,000 species of life, only 400,000 are humans. And then Prabhupada sometimes said, and amongst the humans, there's a few who are civilized. There are few civilized, I mean, following Vedic principles. Becoming Krishna conscious. And we can see, just like here in Köln, they have, how much do you have here? 2 million? 1 million? 1 million. 1 million. And how many people from Cologne are here? Nobody. They're all from other parts. From other side. There's Russians, there's Venezuelans, there's Italians, there is Slovakians. See? So many, so few Colonians. How is it? Kölner. Yeah. So this is of utmost importance. We shouldn't think that, we are so few and people don't accept us and they think we are a sect or we're crazy or whatever. Prabhupada used to say, if we make only one pure devotee with our mission is a full success. And what does that mean to make a pure devotee? Like Prabhupada, pure devotee. How much did Prabhupada do? He created a whole revolution, spiritual revolution in the world. He didn't remain in India sitting in with all respect, but only sitting in Vrindavan and worshipping the deities and taking baths in the Yamuna and all that. No. He was all nervous. I should go, I should preach, I should follow the instruction of my spiritual master. Go out and preach and fight. Fight against Maya. As soon as you become a devotee, the fight starts. Prabhupada used to say that if you become weak, then Maya immediately enters, immediately conquers. So don't be inattentive. Be fully determined in Krishna consciousness and in spiritual life. Like I mentioned before, this is a very rare opportunity. We have gone through so many lives, and all kinds of forms of life. And you're finally, you come to the point that you're given the opportunity to wake up. And wake up. Just like there was an example given to you, you fall into the water, and you finally get up from out of the water. You stick your head out of the water. That's how it is. This opportunity is very, very rare, and we should be convinced of this, not just accept the philosophy like it sounds very nice. No. It's true. It's real. Krishna consciousness is real. And Prabhupada was so awake, so convinced that this was real. This was one of the things that impressed me in Prabhupada. That we were all kind of, more or less under the modes, with Srila Prabhupada. At that time, I don't want to commit any offenses. But Prabhupada was completely awake. He was all at the point. He was always speaking about Krishna. He would only make arrangements for Krishna, fight for Krishna. This was full time, 24 hours. Prabhupada slept so little, and the rest of the time he was completely surrendered to Krishna, to the lotus feet of the Lord. Yeah. So Prabhupada was pretty. He was so convinced. This convinced me so much. Prabhupada was sitting in front of us, and so what? Krishna is real. Krishna is behind everything, and you're not independent. You are dependent on Krishna. Whatever you do, whatever you have, was given to you, supplied to you by Krishna, and nobody else. Not the government, not this and that, not your parents or whatever. It's all given by Krishna. And Krishna is just waiting to give you facilities. As soon as you show a little attention, Krishna is there. And he gives you attention. Just like this nice example that Prabhupada gave, with the two birds in the same tree. One bird is sitting in the center, and he's not at all attracted to the fruits of the tree. He's just waiting to help, to enlighten or to help. The other birds is jumping from us to us, from branch to branch. Sometimes that bird is, Chocho. He's like kind of happy. It seems to, and most of the time he's depressed, not satisfied, like that. So, and this bird sitting in the center, he has all the facilities, all the abilities to make this other bird happy. I just heard a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada said, when you Krishna conscious, you become happy. If you're not happy, you're not practicing properly. The process is there to make you happy. If a devotee is not happy, he's always depressed, that means he's not doing things as he's supposed to do. It works. Just like our new bhaktas. They're becoming happy. The older devotees are not so happy sometimes. Because it's not anything new anymore. The new devotees it's new, kind of, wow, everything new is incredible. And then sometimes the devotees say, oh, Maharaj, I'm a devotee so long, I don't feel inspired. what should I do? You need something, how do you say, neue Herausforderung, how do you say that?
New challenge.
You need a new challenge. If you're just sitting up in the room and just or sleeping, laying in the bed all day, there's nothing happening. You need some new challenge. Go out and distribute some books, or do something usable for Krishna. Don't speculate all day. Just get the books and repeat what you have read to those who are eager to hear. And this is our mission. That we go out and look for somebody who's who's interested in hearing. Who's interested in hearing Srila Prabhupada. Why we go out and distribute books? Because we want them to hear or read what Prabhupada says. When they take a book home, Prabhupada's book, they get it on the street. Normally on the street there's so much commotion and so much distraction and all that. But when they go home, they enter into their peaceful, intimate place, and they open the book. Just imagine, Prabhupada starts speaking to them. I mentioned this many times. Often people, when they get the books, they go home, and they open the door, then they close the door, then they have a place where they sit or lay down, comfortable, completely relaxed. And just imagine, and then they get the book. And in that atmosphere, completely unprotected, Prabhupada is speaking to them, Oh, for example, we have a nice preaching program in somewhere. They're preaching to people in the jail. They're sometimes to the jail. They preach to them, they make kirtan, they bring very sumptuous prasadam for them and all. And these people have a lot of time. They have a lot of time. They're sitting there. And they're mostly, how you say, gelangweilt. How you say gelangweilt?
Bored.
Huh? Sorry?
We are bored.
Bored.
Bored. Yeah. And then just imagine, they reading the books in that solitaire, in this peaceful atmosphere. Wow, it's the best place. Or in a hospital also. I remember we used to distribute books in hospitals in Denmark, in Copenhagen, and we are not allowed to go in there. So we put bandages, to go into the hospital. Nobody would stop us with bandages. Then we go to the top floor and go from room to room and offer and sooner or later the announcement will make, please tell us, where are these guys distributing books? They have nothing to do with us here. And then we had to disappear, or they used to call the police. I remember we went to jail. They even kicked us out of Denmark at that time. Because there were no Danish devotees, we were all Germans. We were all just Germans. It was in the beginning, there was no Danish devotees yet. I have no idea how many Danish devotees are there now. But there were never many. Anyway, so we just push these books everywhere. This is our mission. The best preaching is Prabhupada's preaching. The most valuable we have are Prabhupada's books. And our preaching, our mission is to present Srila Prabhupada, to put them in contact with Srila Prabhupada. And just like Prabhupada produced a change in heart in us, why not? There's so many people who have never been exposed to Srila Prabhupada. Of course, many are not interested, but those few who are interested in becoming devotees and take interest in, understand what Prabhupada says in his books. It's worth the time and energy and all the difficulties and all the tapasya that we're supposed to, we're accepting on Sankirtan. Yeah. And there's one thing that we sometimes mention. There's two kind of highlights in our spiritual life. When we became devotees, when you ask somebody, Prabhu, how did you become a devotee? Wow, there's a whole story they tell us. and it's ecstatic and a big change in life and all that. Yeah. So this is a high point in our life when we become devotees. I remember there was an article in Back to Godhead. Prabhupada wanted that to have an article in Back to Godhead, how I came to Krishna consciousness. There was always an article how somebody had become a devotee. And it was interesting, very interesting to hear, how these people had become devotees, or devotees had become devotees. So, two highlights. This is how we become devotee, and when we see others become devotees. Just imagine you go into the street and distribute some books, and you don't, and it's very difficult. You only meet all kinds of weird people, or who criticize you, or tell you, "Go to work, you parasite." Hast du das schon mal gehört? Ja. Ja, auch. Ne? This is normal. Then, what was the point now? I lost my point.
The two highlights that we have.
Huh?
The two highlights that we have.
Yeah. So and all of a sudden you meet a person he's so interested, and I was looking for you, I couldn't find you, and this and that. Then he comes to the temple. Sunday, all of a sudden he's in the Sunday feast, and you see, and he also asks questions in class, and then you talk to him, or others talk to him, not prajalpa, but actually trying to help him, and then you see how gradually this person is becoming more and more, even comes for Mangal Arti after a while. Wow! This is so incredible. Comes to Mangal Arti and likes prasad. And sooner or later you find out, he's now going on Sankirtan, distributing books and this. Isn't that incredible? Yeah. And that's why, in the very beginning, when the first devotees came to Srila Prabhupada, the first temple and all that, the beginning. Sometimes Prabhupada heard that some of these boys had fallen into Maya again. Prabhupada became very emotional. And he sent devotees to look for him, try to convince him to come back, or ask him how he's feeling and this and that. Yeah. Of course, the movement grew, and then things became a little different. But in the beginning, it was like that. Yeah. Anyway, that's our mission, and we should come. What is it in Deutsch? Ach so, wir sollten das, was wir haben, was wir gefunden haben, that what we have found, we should share it with others. And it's incredible. Everyone knows, every devotee knows, when you start sharing Krishna consciousness with others, your own Krishna consciousness becomes, increases. And that's what's actually explained in the Caritamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plundered the storehouse of love of God and distributed freely. Normally when you have some opulence and you start distributing, it becomes less. But then it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he started distributing this love of God everywhere, and this stock increased unlimitedly because he was distributing it. This is transcendental. This is this transcendental storehouse. Normally in the material world, you're going to have something, you don't like very much to share it with others, or to give it up or something like that. You watch that instead of becoming less, it becomes more and more and more. That's like when you have a bank account and you don't like to spend everything, but you want to keep and get some interest and all that. Yeah. But when you become a devotee, you have to learn how to share it with others. Isn't it? Was hältst du davon?
Yes.
Yeah. No? When you try to share, when you go out and make an effort to distribute some books or preaching or whatever, you feel happy. You feel, wow. Yeah, you sometimes you feel that you're not touching the floor. You kind of levitating. You become so light. I remember when we went out in the beginning it was always difficult, in the morning, and then one day it became better and better and better. And at night somebody said, we have to go now. What? No, wait a minute. We called that experience super distribution ecstasy. Du weißt, von was ich spreche, oder?
Ja. Ich habe immer so einen ziemlich schwer gepackten Rucksack dabei. Und immer wenn ich ein Buch verteile und wirklich ein gutes Gespräch hatte mit jemandem, kriege ich nicht mehr mit, dass der Rucksack schwer ist.
Genau.
Das ist so gut.
This is what our Bhakti says. Srila Prabhupada ki? Sorry for expanding it so much here. Actually, I'm supposed to read from the Chaitanya Caritamrita. Let's see if I get this together without Halador. That's how it is. So we are at verse 11, no? Isn't it? Huh? 12? Okay. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. 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 Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya 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 Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhu ke miliya paida satbhuja darshana. Prabhu ke miliya paida satbhuja darshana. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhu ke miliya paida sadbhuja darshana. Prabhu ke miliya paida sadbhuja darshana. Ach, noch eine Sache. Englisch oder Deutsch? Was machen wir heute? Ha? Englisch? Mejor. Mejor. Okay, mal sehen, ob ich das hier hinkriege mit dem Englisch. Ah ja, ich habe die Wahl hier zwischen Deutsch und Englisch. Wow. Ja, bitte, chant it. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhu ke milaya paida sadbhuja darshana.
Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana.
Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana.
Prabhu ke miliya paida sadbhuja darshana.
Prabhu ke miliya paida sadbhuja darshana.
Nityananda Swarupera
Paila Sadbhuja Darshana. Ladies. Tave Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhupada Paila Sadbhuja Darshana.
Tave Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhu Keviya Paila Sadbhuja Darshana. Tave Nityananda Swarupera Agamana. Prabhu Keviya Paila Sadbhuja Darshana.
Tave. Thereafter. Nityananda Swarupera. Of the personality of Godhead, Nityananda. Agamana. Appearance. Prabhu Ke. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Miliya. Meeting. Paira. Obtained. Sadbhuja Darshana. A vision of the six-armed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Translation and purport. After this function at the house of Srivas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu appeared. And when he met with Lord Chaitanya, he got the opportunity to see him in his six-armed form. The form of Sadbhuja, the six-armed Lord Gaurasundar, is a representation of three incarnations. The form of Sri Ramachandra is symbolized by a bow in one hand and an arrow in the other. The form of Lord Sri Krishna is symbolized by a stick and a flute, like those generally held by the cowherd boy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was symbolized by a sannyas danda and a kumandalu, a water pot. So this is the Sadbhuja form. This form was shown to Nityananda, and it was also shown to what was that? The name. He met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri, and he tried to teach him the Vedanta Sutra. What was that? Sarvabhaumacharya. Yeah, Sarvabhaumacharya. I remember we went to Puri once, and we went to the place of Sarvabhaumacharya. And they were kind of constructing there. There was a construction camp. And they had a deity there of Sadbhuja. And all these places, when we go to India normally, so these pilgrims say, we're not allowed to take photos. Because, well, whatever the reason is, I think the main reason is that they want to, instead of taking photos, they want people to come directly, because they're making money on the pilgrims normally, the owners of the temple. Yeah, I remember. So we were sitting, I was speaking in front of the Murti, and to the devotees, mostly from our Sankirtan, South American congregation. And then I was looking around, and I couldn't see anybody, any Indian around, so I took out the camera and took a shot of the deity. We had the same thing in another place in Puri once. This is the place, I don't remember now the name of the deity. This is the only deity of Krishna that is sitting. Radharani is standing up and Krishna is sitting. And that's actually the place where Gadadhar What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared.
Yes.
Toda Gopinath, yeah, exactly. Toda Gopinath, yes. And that's also the temple where Gadadhar stayed a long time. He was worshipping there also. And I remember we had the same problem that we went in, and everyone, you see these signs, don't take photos, forbidden to take photos and other. and our group consisted also of a very young boy. He was from Alachi, son of devotees. And he was a little kind of rough. No. Anyway, so it was all over, there were signs not to take the photos, and he took a photo. But he forgot to turn off the flash. So when he took the photo, the flash went all over the place, so the pujaris and everyone knew what had happened. And they immediately came, and this boy started running. Because he was young, they couldn't catch him. Because the pujaris were all kind of older people. Yeah, anyway, this is very... And even in our temples in India, we also have these signs to be recognized as a bona fide temple by the Hindus, by the Indians. You have to have these signs also,
Yes.
Even in Mayapur, on the side of the altar says signs, no photos. And the devotees are... No? Yeah, but just to maintain the standard. Yeah. Anyway, so Satpuj, is a very special deity. It also appeared to Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy. And you see, on this deity, you see the arms of Ram are green. Krishna's arms, which are holding the flute and the stick, blue. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu holding the danda and the kamandalu, yellowish. Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed himself like that to Ramananda Roy. It's explained in the Chaitanya Caritamrita, Madhya Lila. We are now reading here from the Adi Lila. So continue. Shri Nityananda Prabhu was born in the village of Ekachakra, in the districts of Birbhum. We will hear more about this tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, so Sri Nityananda Prabhu was born in the village of Ekachakra, in the districts of Birbhum, as the son of Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. In his childhood, he played like Balarama. When he was grown up, a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandit and begged to have the Pandit's son as his brahmachari assistant. Hadai Pandit immediately agreed and delivered his son to him. But I must say that it was not to his liking. It says here, he immediately delivers his son. But actually he was very much hurt by this. This sannyasi came to his house and he served him so nicely, as you're supposed to serve sannyasis when they come to your home. And he was outgoing for the comfort of the sannyasi and serving him this and that. No. And then in the end he said, "Is there anything else I can do for you, Maharaj?" No? And then the sannyasi says, "Yes, give me your son. He should accompany me." And then it says here, he gave him immediately, because he was a very cultured person. He was a devotee and full of respect for sannyasis, for renunciants. That's what you're supposed to do. For your own purification, actually. The more you give to sannyasi, the more you give to brahmanas, the more you give to saintly persons, more you're benefited. That is the secret of success. Just like we always hear that the association of devotees is the most important thing. But not just sit around them, but actually to serve them. To help them in whatever they need. You're supposed to help. Just like in the beginning, they were treating Prabhupada like Swamiji. They would come to his class, they would come to his kirtan, eat a lot of the prasadam that he cooked. And in the end, they all left, and Prabhupada washed the pots, and he washed the plates and everything. He cooked, he cleaned the place. Because nobody se les ocurrió. How do you say it in English?
Nobody had the idea to help.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So he. No. So then the first devotee started asking, "Can we help?" No. And then in the end, he taught Caitanya. He actually was one of the very first devotees of Srila Prabhupada. He taught Caitanya how to cook. And Caitanya became very popular amongst the devotees for his incredible cooking. And what did he cook? He cooked exactly what Prabhupada taught him to cook. When we became devotees in the beginning, these were all the preparations that Prabhupada cooked, that Prabhupada presented. This was halava, sweet rice, puris, sabji, with cheese balls, cheese kind of. Simply wonderful, and these kind of, and chapatis. During the week there were chapatis, and for the feast there were puris. And many times they put puderzucker, how you say sugar? Powder sugar. Powder. They put powder sugar on the puris. Yeah. And as a drink, there was always, most of the time was lassi. Lassi. There was sometimes salty lassi and sometimes lassi with juice. But lassi. And these were the preparations that actually attracted us to become devotees. These were the preparations that we liked so much that we went to the temple all the time. Like I also became a devotee, I must admit, because I liked the prasadam. Nowhere else you could go and eat as much as you like and not pay, not anything, and just go home. Because at that time, I must admit, I never had any money at that time when I became a devotee. So this was also the reason why I went to the temple to eat. And that's how we became devotees. Nowadays, I don't want to criticize anybody, but these preparations are not so present anymore. Nowadays, we're more kind of into pizza and cake and these kind of things. When we went to India the first time, to Mayapur, there were no cake. There was no cake. You couldn't find in any shop cakes. They had no cakes in India. And they had also no bread. People were only eating chapatis and puris like that. And this was then introduced due to the influence from the West. Then one festival, all of a sudden there was a Pizza Hut in Mayapur. The Italian devotees, they couldn't do without pizza, So they had to have their Pizza Hut, with the oven and all this, with firewood. Anyway, and there was nothing that Prabhupada loved more than the things that he taught us. When you read Yamuna's cookbook, I heard about Yamuna, but Yamuna was one of the very first devotees of Srila Prabhupada. And she would always cook for Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada would smash her, and she came out as one of the best cooks in ISKCON. She published a huge cooking book. Cooking? How say? Yeah, a huge cookbook. That was even priced in the Kami world. She got prizes for this. Like that. No, she was very expert in singing and in cooking. Whenever she was around, Prabhupada asked her to sing, and Prabhupada asked her to cook for him. Anyway. So Hadai gave Nityananda to the sannyasi, and the sannyasi took him with him. He lived in so he lived in Nityananda traveled. Oh, then was the time when he left the sannyasi. I don't remember under what circumstance. He left the sannyasi and traveled alone. He was a child. And he traveled, and Nityananda Prabhu traveled on many pilgrimages with the sannyasi. It is said that for many days he lived at Mathura with him. And at that time he heard about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes at Navadvip. Therefore he came down to Bengal to see the Lord. When Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, he was a guest at the house of Nandana Acharya. Understanding that Nityananda Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And this meeting was this meeting was extremely intense. No, it's described in the Chaitanya Caritamrita how they met. So they were very special. Actually, Nityananda is nobody else than Balaram. And Baladeva. When Nityananda was Ramachandra, his brother, Ramachandra's brother, Lakshman. Yeah. Lakshman is the same person also. It says that Nityananda, Lakshman at one point he had a problem with Ramachandra, that he was always supposed to do exactly what he was supposed to what Ramachandra wanted. So at one point he desired to not be in that position anymore and to become the elder brother of Krishna, so he could kind of say things. Yeah. And he again appeared as his associate, as Nityananda. And Nityananda is described in the Shastras. It says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the most merciful incarnation, avatar of the Lord. I'm not used to use this word incarnation very much, because in Spanish, incarnation, everyone knows what incarnation means. No? Incarnation means to become meat, Fleischwerdung. No? Carne, meat. Yes, meat. No? So anyway, this is not a perfect expression. Better expression is avatar. You know, somebody who descends from the transcendental platform, makes himself visible before us on the material platform. No? Anyway, so Nityananda, no? We will speak much more about Nityananda tomorrow. So let's continue to read here. Therefore he came down to Bengal to see the Lord. When Nityananda came to Navadvip, he was a guest at the house of Nandanacharya. Understanding that Nityananda Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him. Yeah, he told them to come. And thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited to Lord Nityananda Prabhu a six-armed form bearing a conch shell, disc, club, lotus flower, bow and flute. Thereafter the Lord showed him his four-armed form standing in a three-curved posture. What is the term? Tribhanga. I have a disciple, Tribhanga. But he is not like this. No? He is a servant of Krishna. No? So what are the three curves? Anybody knows? His arm, when he plays the flute, like this curve. Then the other curve is here, no? Because Krishna stands like this. And the other curve is his how you say? Knees, his knees. Yeah. And this is the most wonderful form. Tribanga. So 2 hands, I already mentioned, played upon a flute, and the other 2 carry the conch shell and disc. Everything about Krishna is special. Finally, the Lord showed Nityananda Prabhu his 2-armed form of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply playing on his flute, his bluish body dressed in yellow garments. Oh, I just wanted to mention, today the altar is very much to my liking. Why is this? I have mentioned many times that there should be a, how you say it in English? Contrast. Contrast. Yeah. Often devotees put the deity and put exactly the same color to the background and all that. And I remember sometimes when very fresh, new people would come to the temple, and we would show them in the altar. They many times they seem to not even see the deity. They only saw flowers. They say, yeah, many flowers, very beautiful flowers. And that's why I'm nobody, but I think it's important that the deities have more contrast. Now you can see very clearly the deities contrasting from the background. All glories to the pujaris. Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyasa Puja, or worship of the spiritual master, to Lord Sri Gaurasundar. But Lord Caitanya carried the plow-like weapon called Mushala in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu then arrived to offer Vyasa Puja, or worship of the spiritual master, to Lord Sri Gaurasundar. But Lord Caitanya carried the plow-like weapon called Mushala in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyasa Puja of the Lord on the night of the full moon. I wanted to also mention that, I remember the name of the devotee, but after shortly after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, he organized also Vyasa Puja for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Gura Purnima, better to say. And at that meeting, so many very, very incredible souls participated. There were some Goswamis, and there was also Nityananda's wife. What is it? Yes, yeah. She was there also, and it's mentioned even that at that time, she was the senior most devotee at that time. Since Vyasadeva is the original guru, spiritual master of all who follow the Vedic principles, worship of the spiritual master is called Vyasa Puja. I want to stop here because I have something else to say. Because today is the appearance of and what was the first again? Oh, 7-1. Yeah, the second canto. In the second canto, there is a list of incarnation of avatars, and so it starts with the first avatar of Krishna. Sometimes the karmis, or those who do not understand properly, No? When they write that Krishna is the 8th incarnation of Vishnu. In other words, it's just another one, more, But actually, in the end of this list of incarnations, there's a saying, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Amongst all these, Krishna is actually the original, is the supreme of them all. So then it's in Deutsch. Ich rede jetzt in Deutsch, sorry. Regelmäßig erscheinende Inkarnationen mit bestimmten Aufgaben. Vers 1. Brahma sprach, als der unbegrenzte, mächtige Herr in einem seiner Spiele die Gestalt eines Ebers annahm, um den Planeten Erde emporzuheben, der im großen Ozean des Universums versunken war, den man Garbhodaka nennt, erschien der erste Dämon Hiranyaksha und der Herr durchbohrte ihn mit seinem Hauer. Schon mal gehört von dieser Inkarnation? Ja? Okay. Gut. So, dann gibt es eine Erläuterung hierzu. Seit dem Beginn der Schöpfung sind die Dämonen und die Halbgötter oder Vaishnavas immer die beiden Arten von Lebewesen, die die Planeten der Universen beherrschen. In unserem Universum ist Brahma der erste Halbgott und Hiranyaksha ist der erste Dämon. Nur unter gewissen Bedingungen schweben die Planeten als schwerelose Kugeln in der Luft. Und sobald diese Bedingungen gestört werden, können die Planeten in den Garbhodaka-Ozean fallen, der das Universum halb füllt. Die andere Hälfte bildet die schwerische Kuppel, in der die unzähligen Planeten schweben. Das Schweben der Planeten in der schwerelosen Luft ist auf die innere Beschaffenheit dieser Kugeln zurückzuführen. Das heute üblich gewordene Anbohren der Erde, um Öl aus dem Erdinnern zu fördern, ist eine Art von Störung durch die modernen Dämonen, die sich auf dem Schwebezustand der Erde sehr negativ auswirken wird. Eine ähnliche Störung wurde vormals durch die Dämonen unter der Führung Hiranyakshas, des großen Ausbeuters der Goldvorräte, verursacht, wodurch die Erde aus der Schwebe geriet und in den Garbhodaka-Ozean fiel. Der Herr nahm darauf, als der Erhalter der gesamten Schöpfung der materiellen Welt, die gigantische Gestalt eines Ebers mit einer entsprechenden Schnauze an und hob den Planeten Erde aus dem Wasser des Garbhodaka-Ozeans. Sri Jayadeva Goswami, ein bedeutender Vaishnava-Dichter, besang diese Begebenheit in den folgenden Vers. Pasanti dashana sikare dharani tavalagana shashine kalanka kelevani magana keshavaldita shukara rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Die letzten beiden Linien habe ich noch selber dazu gefügt. O Keshava, höchster Herr, du dir die Gestalt eines Ebers angenommen hast, o Herr, der Erdplanet ruht auf deinen Hauern und er erschien wie der Mond mit eingegrabenen Flecken. Hieran erkennt man eine Inkarnation des Herrn. Eine Inkarnation des Herrn ist keine ersonnene Vorstellung einiger fantasiebegabter Menschen, die eine Inkarnation in ihrer Einbildung schaffen. Der Herr erschien unter bestimmten außergewöhnlichen Umständen, wie im oben erwähnten Fall, und löst eine schwierige Aufgabe, die sich das winzige Gehirn des Menschen nicht einmal vorstellen kann. Die modernen Schöpfer billiger Inkarnationen mögen zur Kenntnis nehmen, dass Gott in der Gestalt eines gigantischen Ebers erschien, mit einer gigantischen Schnauze, den Planeten Erde tragend. Als der Herr erschien, um den Erdplaneten aus dem Wasser zu heben, versuchte der Dämon namens Hiranyaksha, ihn bei der Erfüllung seiner geplanten Aufgabe zu stören. Und daher wurde er getötet, indem der Herr ihm mit seinen Hauern durchbohrte. Srila Jiva Goswami ist der Ansicht, der Dämon Hiranyaksha sei durch die Hand des Herrn getötet worden. Deshalb lautet seine Version, dass der Dämon mit dem Hauer durchbohrt wurde, nachdem der Herr ihn mit seiner Hand getötet hatte. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur nimmt diese Darstellung, stimmt dieser Darstellung zu. Und da muss man noch etwas dazu sagen. Also das war am Anfang der Schöpfung. Das war der erste Dämon. Und der wurde vom Herrn besiegt in der Form eines Ebers. Oh. Should I speak in English? Yeah, there's another one here who doesn't speak very perfectly. Speaks, but not so perfectly. So, das ist dann noch eine Vorgeschichte. Brahma war das erste erschaffene Lebewesen. Und Brahma schöpfte Söhne, wollte Söhne, um das Universum zu bevölkern. Sagt man bevölkern? Ja. Und auch verschiedene Funktionen möglich zu machen, die er seinen Nachfolgern oder seinen Söhnen übertragen würde. Und so hatte er den Wunsch, wie gesagt, Söhne zu haben. Und die ersten Söhne, die er hatte, waren 4, die 4 Kumaras. Aber die 4 Kumaras, die weigerten sich, das Universum zu bevölkern. Die weigern sich, das Universum zu bevölkern. Die wollten einfach Brahmacharis, weil die wollten sich nicht verstricken mit Haushälterleben. Und die weigern sich auch aufzuwachsen, weil wenn sie aufwachsen würden, dann würden sie sich verstricken mit so vielen Sachen. Und deshalb blieben sie kleine Kinder. Und als sie sich weigerten, die Anweisung ihres Vaters zu folgen, wurde der Vater zornig, aber er zeigte seinen Zorn nicht. Vor seinem Sohn wollte er seinen Zorn nicht zeigen, von seinen Söhnen. Aber diese Hitze des Zorns war in seiner Stirn. Und dadurch wurde ein wundersames Wesen geboren, ein dunkles Wesen. Und das war Shiva, das ist die Geburt Shivas, Shambhus im Universum. Ja. Und die Kumaras, die blieben kleine Babys, so, nicht Babys, aber so kleine Kinder. Und die reisten über die ganze Welt und predigten und sangen die heiligen Namen. Und waren sehr, sehr in Ekstase. Und eines Tages entschieden sie, wir wollen mal nach Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha-Nath oder Narayan treffen, Darshan haben. Und die waren qualifiziert, in die spirituelle Welt zu gehen. Könnt ihr das vorstellen? Ja, die waren qualifiziert, in die spirituelle Welt zu gehen. Die befanden sich in der materiellen Welt und die konnten dahin reisen und wieder zurückkommen. Aber als sie zum Tor von Vaikuntha kamen, da gibt es ein Tor, interessant, ne? Da standen 2 Wachen, Jai und Vijay. Und die bewachten das Tor, dass da keine unqualifizierten Seelen in die spirituelle Welt gelangen konnten. Und als sie daran gehindert wurden, zurückzugehen, verfluchten die Kumaras diese beiden Wachen, Jai und Vijay. Und als Resultat dessen, sie verfluchten sie, in die materielle Welt herabzufallen. Und als Narayan oder in der spirituellen Welt saß er auf seinem Thron, wie das halt beschrieben wird, kam er hörte, wie sagt man, nicht hörte, sondern er wurde sich darüber bewusst und kam sofort zur Stelle, um seine Geweihten. Jai und Vijay waren zwei Vaikuntha-Naths, das waren zwei Bewohner von Vaikuntha, von der spirituellen Welt. Und die jetzt in die materielle Welt fallen würden. Aber zur gleichen Zeit war er auch den Kumaras verpflichtet, weil das große Seelen waren. Und die hatten sie verflucht, ich weiß nicht wie viel Leben in der materiellen Welt zu erscheinen. Waren das 5? Oder wie viel? 7? Yes, no, yes. Yeah, 7 lives as in the material world. No? As devotees. Wait a minute. Ja, als Devotees. Oder dann wurde das umgewandelt, ne? Entweder als Devotees 7 leben oder 3 leben als Dämonen. Und weil die schnell wieder zurückkehren wollten, wählten sie die Geburten von Dämonen. Sie wählten die Geburten von Dämonen. Und dann muss man noch etwas dazu sagen. Prabhupada sagt, dass Krishna eine ganz besondere Neigung hat. Alle Neigungen, die wir haben, befinden sich auch in Krishna. Aber in der reinen Form, in der transzendentalen Form. Und so hat Krishna auch die Neigung zu kämpfen. Sich zu prügeln mit jemandem. Oder zu, ne? Das macht Krishna auch. Ne? Und, aber in der spirituellen Welt findet Krishna keine Gegner. Die sind alle völlig ergeben zu Krishna. Ne? Und deshalb schickt manchmal Krishna Devotees in die materielle Welt, dämonische Körper anzunehmen, um einen guten Kampf zu haben. No, so wurde, da war im Grunde der ursprüngliche Plan, hinter allem steht Krishna, hinter allem. Das ist, was Krishna-Bewusstsein bedeutet. Man versteht, dass letztlich alles von Krishna bewirkt wird. Alles, selbst die ungünstigen Umstände auch. Alles, da steht überall Krishna hinter. Da steht der unergründliche oder unbegreifliche Plan Krishna dahinter. Und wenn man Krishna bewusst wird, dann kann man das mehr und mehr wertschätzen. Kann man das mehr und mehr verstehen. Ja? So. Und dann hatte Krishna, wie gesagt, bewirkt, dass diese beiden Devotees in die materielle Welt kommen, um ihnen einen guten Kampf zu geben. Ne? Weshalb wollte Krishna, dass die Devotees seine Gegner sind oder gegen ihn kämpfen? Weil wenn die kämpfen, die hauen nicht ab. Wie sagt man das? Ne? Die kämpfen einfach, die kämpfen und bleiben da und machen keine, wie sagt man, keine Pflege oder kein Rückzieher. Ne? Sondern die kämpfen einfach, bis sie den Körper aufgeben müssen. Ne? So. Und dann hatte, wie es hier heißt, die ersten beiden Geburten war Hiranyaksha und Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu kennen wir hier ausreichend, oder nicht ausreichend, aber normalerweise. Hiranyaksha, ne, das waren die Söhne von Diti, Kashyapa und Diti. Und die waren die waren geboren worden durch eine, wie sagt man, Unüberlegtheit Ditis. Ditis hatte darauf bestanden, einen Sohn zu bekommen. Und Kashyapa, ihr Mann, der war ein großer Yogi, ein großer Weiser. Und der war nicht bereit, mit ihr zu zeugen, weil er sagte, das ist ein ungünstiges Moment. Das ist ein ungünstiges Moment jetzt. Nein, nein, nein. Aber die bestand drauf und letztlich als Resultat dessen wurden Dämonen geboren. Das ist einer der Gründe, weshalb wir sehr, sehr strikt Devotees sein sollten und uns nach den Richtlinien, der vedischen Richtlinien richten sollten. Dass wir zum Beispiel, wenn wir Kinder zeugen, dass wir in einem guten Bewusstsein sind. Ne, zum Beispiel hat Srila Prabhupada den Haushältern geraten, wenn sie ein Kind zeugen, sollten sie mindestens 50 Runden chanten an dem Tag. Ja, und noch andere Sachen. Ja. So, und in dieser Weise waren die erschienen. Und wie es hier heißt, der Hiranyaksha, der war sehr begeistert, sehr angezogen von Gold. Ja, und deshalb hat er überall das Gold rausgezogen. Ja, und dadurch, sagt Prabhupada, kam die Erde in eine, wie sagt man das in Deutsch? Kam aus der Bahn und fiel in den Ozean. Weil das heißt, im Srimad Bhagavatam, dieses Universum ist halb mit Wasser gefüllt. Und das andere Teil, wo die ganzen Planeten sind und so weiter. Das Garbhodaka, das ist der Garbhodaka-Ozean. Garbhodaka bedeutet Schweiß. Das ist der Schweiß von Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. Also es ist kein normaler Schweiß, sondern das ist ganz besonderer Schweiß. Ganz besonderer Ozean. So, und dadurch war die Erde aus ihrer Bahn gekommen und war in diesen Ozean gefangen. Und nicht nur das, sondern das heißt, dass sie an einen unreinen Ort gefallen war. Und deshalb erschien der Herr, ne, wenn Krishna erscheint, jede Inkarnation Krishnas hat auch gleichzeitig eine ganz besondere Mission. Abgesehen von dem Kampf mit Dämonen hat sie auch eine ganz besondere Mission. Ja, und das war diese Erde aus dieser, wie sagt man, wieder in ihre Position zu versetzen. Und die kämpften. Die kämpfen eine lange Zeit. Das heißt im Bhagavatam, dieser Dämon, Hiranyaksha, war gigantisch. Und die Form des Ebers war auch gigantisch. Da gab es am Anfang der Bewegung, da hatte ein Devotee-Künstler, der hatte ein Bild davon gemalt, von dem Kampf der beiden. Ja. Und da wurde diese Eberinkarnation rot dargestellt, weil die hat auch, diese Inkarnationen erscheinen zu regelmäßigen Zeiten. Das sind immer wieder die gleichen. Buddha erscheint oder die Eberinkarnation erscheint, die erscheinen immer wieder, nach einem bestimmten Plan. Und dann heißt es, manchmal ist diese Eberinkarnation rot und manchmal ist sie weiß. Und das war die rote Form. Und dann hat Krishna es genossen, mit diesem Dämon zu kämpfen, ihn zu töten. Und mit seinen Hauern. Wie sagt man? Eber hat einen Hauer? Nee, wie sagt man das?
Hauer schon.
Ja, Hauer? Ja, hat er ihn mit dem Hauern durchbohrt. Und das hat die Eberinkarnation genossen. Das hat Krishna genossen. So, die ersten beiden waren Hiranyakashipu, dann Rama, Kumbhakarna und wie heißt denn die andere? Ravana und Kumbhakarna. Und dann nochmal, im Grunde zweimal noch, obgleich nur dreimal, das waren nur dreimal, die sie erscheinen mussten, erschienen sie nochmal am Ende. Dann erschienen sie als Shishupal und Dantavakra mit Krishna, von Krishna getötet. Und dann nahmen sie nochmal, das ist ein großes Geheimnis, unter die Devotees nicht, erschienen sie nochmal wieder. Meine Erinnerung ist mir noch nicht wieder so gut. Die beiden Dämonen, nicht diese Söhne der Brahmanas, die von Caitanya Mahaprabhu befreit wurden, besser von Nityananda. Jagannatha. Ja. Dem wurde nochmal erlaubt, auch teilzunehmen in den Spielen Caitanya Mahaprabhus. Als Jayamata. Wie war das? Jagannatha. Ja. Und die wollte Caitanya Mahaprabhu auch töten. Ja, er kam zur Stelle und manifestierte sein Feuerrad. Ja. Und Nityananda fiel ihm zu Füßen und bat ihn, sie nicht zu töten, weil er sagte, mein Herr, du bist gekommen, um die Menschen im Kali Yuga, gefallenen Seelen im Kali Yuga zu befreien. Und hier haben wir zwei typische Repräsentanten. Bitte töte sie nicht. Und die wurden dann zu Devotees. Das werden wir morgen nochmal hören. Ja, und wenn man durch Südindien reist, vielen Tempeln haben sie vorne Torhüter vom Tempeltor. Ja, da sieht man die beiden stehen, als Devotees, die bewachen den Tempel. Wir haben das Gleiche auch in unseren Tempeln, in einigen Tempeln. Wir haben zum Beispiel in Madrid, in Peru, haben wir auch einen großen Tempel. Und da stehen auch die beiden am Tor. Mit dem Schwert bewachen das Tor. So, das wollte ich noch dazu sagen. Entschuldigt, dass ich das so in die Länge gezogen habe hier. Srila Prabhupada, geh. Noch eine Frage dazu vielleicht? Eine kurze, schnelle? Ja, bitte?
Anstatt 50 Runden zu janten, können wir auch einfach Service für Vaishnavas machen?
Bitte?
Anstatt 50 Runden zu janten, können wir auch einfach Service für die Devotees machen? Also
Anstatt 16 Runden zu chanten?
Anstatt 50 Runden, 16 Runden, ja, aber dafür Service, wenn man den ganzen Tag involviert ist.
Kann ich nichts zu sagen. Ich kann das nur wiederholen, was Frau Prabhupada gesagt hat.
Okay.
Wie war das mit der Erde, als die in dem Ozean war? Also gab es da noch Leben auf der Erde? Oder?
Ja, ich habe gehört, da waren die Devotis. Die haben gechantet, haben um die Hilfe Krishnas gebeten. Bitte?
Ist Krishna dann gekommen?
Ja, in Form der Ego-Inkarnation. Weil, ja, da habe ich noch einen Punkt vergessen, weil die Erde war an einen unreinen Ort gefallen. Und deshalb nahm der Herr die Form eines Ebers an, weil normalerweise die Schweine, die halten sich an Orten auf, die nicht sehr rein sind. Hare Krishna. Noch ein kleines Detail. Hast du das verstanden? Ne? Because the earth fell to a very impure, very dirty place, Krishna appeared as a what is that? Pig? No, boar, as a boar. No, because esa es la morada de los jabalíes. Deshalb hat die Form eines Ebers angenommen. Da gibt es so viele Details. So viele Details. Ja, da gibt es auch so viele Beschreibungen von diesen Spielen in den Puranas, die noch viel ausführlicher sind in den Puranas. Ja. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ah.